Hello crazy people, and welcome to another vlog for 31 Days of Spoops. And please excuse the no makeup and frizzy hair and different ears thing. I had some errands to run and I thought I'd just change up the ears a bit. Do you see how sparkly and pretty they are? So yeah, we're not here to talk about my sparkly ears or my appearance. Today we are talking about horror and my love for creepypasta. And we're going to talk about like the history of it. Not of creepypasta, but the history of me being exposed to creepypasta. I remember as a little kid, I absolutely hated getting scared, so I was not a big fan of horror films. However, my cousin was a big fan of getting scared. I don't know why she liked getting scared, but I remember her just always putting on a scary movie whenever I was sleeping over with her. And a distinct memory that I have is us being at her dad's house and us watching a movie called Night of the Living Doll, I think. It was about a ventriloquist dummy that came to life, and all his other friends also came to life. And dolls are just really creepy to look at. Not necessarily like scary, but they do give me like a creep factor. But as kids, they were just absolutely terrifying. So I wouldn't count that as my first horror film because I did not watch the movie. I was too busy hiding under a blanket, looking at my cousin, just trying to distract myself from watching that movie, although I did see some glimpses and they did scare me. And my cousin as well. Well, fast forward into the future. I think I was in my, I had to be in my teen years, but I can't remember if it was the early teens or my late teens. I ended up watching a scary movie, which is debatable by people on whether or not it's scary, but it was called Dead Silence, and that has to be my favorite scary movie. Not because it was horrifying, but because it was like the gateway movie that like led me into looking up like more horror stuff and all that. And also I absolutely loved the twist to it, because when I watch movies that's kind of asks the question like who did it, like who's behind it, what's behind it. I usually try to figure it out, but it caught me off guard. Like I would think one thing, but something else ended up being the thing. I don't know how to explain it. I hope you understand. But yeah, so Dead Silence, my favorite scary movie of all time because of the twist and because it was the one that led me to horror. So from then on, I absolutely loved horror. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a big chicken, but for some reason I like getting scared. I don't know what's the deal with all that. Then, like with YouTube, I found this one girl who like told scary stories, and she didn't rely on jump scares, which was something that I'm used to in a lot of horror films. They jump scare you. But what I liked about her reading is that she didn't, like, there weren't jump scares, it was just her voice and the fact that the story itself was really creepy. And that was way before creepypasta, like, kind of got a name for itself, or that's how, or creepypasta became, like, really known. Like, it wasn't called creepypasta, at least she didn't call them creepypastas, they were just scary stories. Another fast forward maybe to like a few years ago or so, I saw Mr. Creepypasta in my subscription box. I don't know how he got there. I've never seen any of his videos. I've never clicked on a video. I haven't heard of Mr. Creepypasta. I haven't heard of creepypastas. But for one reason or another, he just ended up in my subscription box, and I'm just like, okay. And I think he read this one story called Diana, which obviously caught my attention because that is my name. And I'm just like, I'm gonna check this out and see what this is about. And just the way he read the story and how the story itself was, I got into it, and so I started looking up more of the stories, and I found more narrators, and that's how I got sucked into the creepypasta world, which not many people would guess that I like creepypasta or horror, because I am a big chicken. Like, it's so easy to scare me. Some people have the mindset, I've noticed people assume this about me, that because I get easily scared, that I hate getting scared, and therefore I hate horror movies. But I actually love horror movies, and I love horror stories, which is why I thought this year for 31 Days of Spoops I'd read some of the stories that I've either read or heard that I loved, either because it like gave me goosebumps, or it gave me the chills, or it creeped me out, or just the twist caught me off guard. Because that's another thing too, is not many stories can pull off a twist. Like, it's kind of like, oh, I kind of suspected that, but for me it always had me like guessing, like, what's the twist to this, like what's going to be the thing, like is it going to get me, and usually it does. I wanted to read the stories myself because I love telling stories, I like reading stories, which is why I have my little Grimm's book over here. I love fairy tales most of all, and I liked how the Grimm's stories would have like these gore or like dark components to them, and I still love like fairy tales like with their happy ever afters, but sometimes it's not a complete happy ever after, like there's some darkness into it, which I don't know why, but I love dark stuff, which is why I like horror and scary stories and kind of just like creepy things. Like, I've always, not always, well, I mean, I haven't always been into horror, but I've always had like an interest in like the dark stuff, like the not typical like fairy tale type stuff. Yeah, that's just part of me, and I love stories. I love telling stories, as I've mentioned. Part of why I like telling stories, this goes back to when I was younger again. I had a speech impediment where I couldn't pronounce my R's and I couldn't pronounce my S's. Like, my S's will come out as S's, and I still have trouble with my R's, and I do have trouble like speaking and forming like words. But my Nana, to like kind of help me out with talking, she had me read books with her, and so we would take turns telling stories, and I just love that. That was my favorite memory of her. And 4 years ago she passed away in this month, and I've always loved Halloween, but I also loved us reading stories together, me and her. And I thought, what better way to celebrate my favorite holiday and also celebrate her by reading the stories that I absolutely love, even though they're not quite the stories that me and her would read. So that's another part of why I wanted to read these stories, and I've had so much fun making them. And I'm sorry this video is going on forever, but I don't know, I just love talking about this and why I love to do the things I do. And I love reading creepypastas, but this month's just like putting up a video like every single day. I cannot do that for an entire year, but I know I'm definitely going to miss reading creepypastas. Like, this month I was like kind of thinking like maybe I could do creepypastas like once a week or something. Like, added my vlogs on Tuesdays and Fridays, maybe like on a weekend I could post up a creepypasta video. But again, like, just to get 25 stories out in this month took a lot of work and a lot of like searching through like my favorite stories and kind of just picking the ones that I really loved. Like, I had so many stories that I wanted to read, but it was like hard for me to choose which one. It's like picking my favorite child. I mean, I was gonna say I couldn't do that, but I did. But you get what I'm mean. Like, it would be like really hard for me to pick a favorite story, and I feel like I would run out quite quickly because I would also, throughout the year, I would also want to work on the stories for 31 Days of Spoops, because that's what 31 Days of Spoops, at least this year, that's what it was, a collection of the stories that like I really loved through, that I've seen or read throughout the year. And as much as I absolutely love reading these creepypastas, I love it when my sister is listening to the videos and just tells me how creepy I sound, despite how I sound like right now. I don't know, she says my voice is a bit different in real life than the voice that I use for storytelling, and that makes me happy. And like, my friend even said that I was doing a really good job at these stories, even though I myself am not the most scary or intimidating person. Like, it's just a really cool thought for me, and I'm gonna miss doing that. But at the same time, I'm going to look forward every year. I'm going to be even more excited, not because of Halloween, but because I get to read stories again. And I hope that you like this idea as well. Thank you for watching my vlogs as well as the stories, and I hope you like the ones that are going to come out soon. So, thank you guys for watching. I know it was long, but I'm glad that you bared with me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye! Oh gosh, I should learn to stop rambling so much, or maybe you like it. Maybe I should ramble more often, I don't know. Anyway, see ya!